Oh, look, Blair's at Uluru.
Yeah. No rock there.
Nah, I thought it was, but it's the back of his chair.
Yeah.
Hey, going out there in the interwebs. Blair's going to duck downstairs in a minute and do some turning for us. No, he's not.
I might.
I'm trying to motivate the young lad, you know? Young whippersnapper's getting a bit demotivated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go. How about you go through other people's subscriptions and pick out some new people to go and watch, you know? Something like that.
I'll do it nude.
Yes, but you've actually got to do it nude, not just call yourself that to get the attention.
Well, hey, last week I think Mark actually did it in a pink tutu.
Did he?
He did.
Was it a 2-2 or a 4-4? Was he too small? Was it 2-2 too small?
No, he's pretty skinny. So it was a 2-2.
No comment.
Yeah.
I think it would have looked better with a pole, but yeah, that's just my thoughts. At least the 2-2 were flung up in the air a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Robbo, get turning. Let's go. Come on.
No, I'm sitting in the office at the moment. 321 emails I had to sift through this morning. And only about 4 of them were of any value.
Sorry, I'll stop spamming you.
Yeah, stop signing me up.
How many of them were to extend your vehicle's warranty?
No, we don't get those. But bloody Bitcoin ads and crap.
Yeah. You know why? Because they've Bitcoin and the American government had a court battle, and the American government lost the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bitcoin's actually classed as a currency in America now. So that could be why.
Well, I find it interesting, the whole Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff. I kind of want to look into it, and then again, I don't.
Yeah.
Have a look at one called Ripple. I've been told that one actually has the less amount of fees, and there's one, I don't know if it's Bitcoin or not, but there's one that I know someone that's in, and just say they've got $200 in there. If they want to get that out, it's a $160 fee.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so you got to read the fine print. There's one called Ripple that one of my mates is in, and it seems to be working all right. It's not going to make me invest in it, but he seems to be doing all right.
I can't be bothered trying to work out how it works. So, and if I can't understand how something works, I don't do it.
It all comes down to their exchange rate, really. Like say he put $600 on there, and in 2 days it was worth $1,500. So there's different stuff like that. It depends how much you look at the stock market, really.
Well, that's it. Now, I find the biggest problem that I've got with lives is that I try to do things that other people don't do, and I'm running out of things that to think of.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I did one this morning, kind of an improvement on one I did like about 3-4 weeks ago on doing a night light. And I mean, it came out okay. I mean, the nightlight actually came out great, but just the whole video was like really hard. I just deleted it. So
Yeah.
why bother? And Sid did his first. That was good.
I read through the messenger thingos, and unfortunately I was still in Ballarat when he was on, so plus the fact that I only read it this morning too, that like everything else, a bit late for the date, you know.
Yeah. Jay, you're going to hit your finger.
To be honest, I'm more concerned at maybe potentially ripping off one of these.
That was going to be my next thing. You're likely to chip the edge.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you got a round dowel there or something, Jay?
I got a drumstick.
That'll work.
Right. Cut a slot down it with the bandsaw.
No.
Right. Well, why don't you take that out?
Yeah.
Set up a piece of scrap wood, a bit of that pine.
Yeah.
And turn it down to round, and then put a slot down the middle of it, and wrap the sandpaper around it.
Processing.
Recalculating.
Need to reformat. It didn't sink in. Say it again.
Get a piece of pine, turn it down to round, about an inch round.
Yeah.
And then cut a slot halfway down it. That's about 3 inches wide. And you feed the sandpaper into it, and then you wrap the sandpaper around it.
No. Are you joking, Blair?
No, the guy behind me is.
Good.
No?
Hooray for Jay.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, that's what your thing is entitled.
Yeah.
Hooray for whatever you want to put on the end. Personally, I know what I've put on the end, but I can't verbalise it live.
No, you need a piece longer than that. One of those bits that I bought over.
Make things difficult. One of those bits you brought over. Okay.
For Amber's practice things.
Yeah.
G'day, Dr. Bob.
Be there in a sec.
Oh, he's in the YouTube chat. All right. Well.
Greetings.
Going.
Turn your phone off,
Good.
Bob. Greetings and salutations, sir. Still got your phone on.
And many hearty felicitations. How was your vacation?
Yeah, hated every minute of it, I did.
You miss Jay that much?
Uh,
Like missing an extra hole in your head, I think.
Bob, you've got your phone or something on. We're getting a hell of a thingo back.
Echo, echo, echo.
Well, it's not from my phone. It could be just the room. Let me put my headphones on, see if that solves it.
Oh, it might be.
Right, we'll try that. No, still getting it.
No, it's just a leftover of it. Just needs
Oh,
to
you've
start.
got. Have you got YouTube
There.
open? That's better. Good.
Yeah, it must be the echo in the big room.
It's not coming from my head if someone else can hear it. How you been today, Dr. Bob?
Good. The kids are busy playing games upstairs.
Yeah,
One of
long as
them
you
had
know where they are.
a dream, I won't say come true, but he was out with his girlfriend on a date 2 days ago. The two of them were playing kissy kissy, and now they both tested positive. So the easiest thing to do is that since they got it from her parents, who also tested positive, now he's over staying with them so he can commiserate with his girlfriend.
Jeez, I never thought of doing that when I was going out.
What a terrible idea. You know, that's how grandkids are made.
Yes, and it's like, but we might die next week. Let's enjoy it now. Life. Oh well.
Jeez, that's like
Teenagers.
that
They're
was
both
the excuse.
18.
That was the excuse that soldiers used before they went to war.
Yep. Tell me about it.
You didn't use
Before
that.
Vietnam, you mean? I tried, but didn't get that. It was like, you got to be kidding me. But the girl that I had dated for 3 years, she knew I was a nerd and that I was too much into, my ham radio, working at the TV station. She'd come down, keep me busy some nights while I was head engineer at night at the local TV station, Channel 4. But I was a cheap engineer to have. I had the license to be head engineer, but all I did was keep changing film on film change and doing the hourly time announcements. And
Hey, Cade.
How you going, Code?
Hey Blair, hey Jay, hey Robo, hey Dr.
Good day,
Bob.
Clayton, Jake, Cade. How are you? I'll be back in a couple. I'll be back in a couple of
Pretty
minutes.
good.
you said that before and disappeared for a week.
It's cup of tea time, I would assume.
Yeah, it's tea time.
Ah,
What's for tea, Cade?
just remember, out of everybody here, we have 4 of us are members of the Detroit area Woodturners, and we are having a guest tomorrow. We're going to be joining them. You all got the notice, I would assume, in the mail.
Who's the guest? Bob?
I don't remember.
John Jordan,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah, I just double checked the email, and I believe it's John Jordan.
Yeah, I spent today for 4 hours with the Grand Rapids wood turning because I'm a member of that group. That's the other half of the state. There's the big club that, like ours is for this half. And they were utterly surprised that they had like 60 people. And I just didn't want to say it, though someone else did. Well, in Detroit, they're unhappy if they have, if they don't get at least 120. Oh. But at $25 membership for an online membership, that does well, and it helps pay for that. They have 6 guest demonstrators a year. And you couldn't pay $25 for most of them to actually interact one-on-one with them. So it's a good price to pay.
I'm really hoping that they actually have some big expos this year. Not counting on it, but hey, Robert, welcome.
How you going, Robert?
G'day, Robert and Harry.
Hello.
Sorry, Harry.
You got to.
I got to go for a sec, but I'll pop back in a bit.
Okay, no problem. We'll be here.
Robert, that acorn you made this morning was really cool.
How'd your live go last night, Robert? I know Dark came into Sid's last night. Yeah, geez. Get down. So, did you want me to cut a slot with the bandsaw, Robbo?
Turn it down to an inch round first, all right? All the way down.
Yeah, but my bandsaw blade is not on the bandsaw at the moment. That's why I'm asking. Do you want me to use the bandsaw still?
Yes.
No. That's why I said no.
Well, you got something. Well, you got something else that you can cut a slot in it with?
Yeah, I got jigsaw.
Rightio. Well, all right. If you got a jigsaw, cut the slot first.
All right.
And Robert said, thanks, it turned out better than I expected for a first acorn box.
Oh, yeah.
G'day, Paul.
Hey, going, Paul. There's a link there if you want, guys. Hey, Blair.
Yes, sir.
I don't mean to swear at you or anything, but maybe you could try. Oh shit! And I'm saying it with Robbo in the room too. You're gonna cop it, nah. And maybe you should try some spindle turning or something. Well, I'm just saying, like, you could do some honey dippers or foot massages and stuff like that. It's just for something different.
Real turning.
How you going, Paul?
G'day, Paul.
Just an idea, Blair. That's all. No, you know.
Good. I'm actually at my workshop for a change.
Yeah.
Hey.
Don't know what I'm doing in my workshop at 2:30 in the morning.
At least you'll have no one
That's tidy.
bothering you.
It looks as tidy as mine does, Paul, at the moment.
Yeah, you should see the other direction.
How do you find the little sandblaster?
Good, actually. Yeah, quite like that. It's yeah, it has its uses.
Yeah. Well, I've got one very similar to that.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
originally bought.
I like using it to you sort of texture the wood, make it look a bit sort of wind beaten and a bit like driftwood, I suppose. Yeah.
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 I originally bought it for cleaning up brackets and things on on automotive stuff, but yeah, I've done a few wood pieces. Makes it look like driftwood and wind blown. You know. Good day, Copper Al. How are you?
Yeah.
How you going, Rob?
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, do you happen to have your YouTube open?
Hang on. Yeah.
Can you mute it, please?
Yeah.
We're getting an echo.
Right, I've closed it.
Cheers.
Is that better now?
Yes, sir.
That okay?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah. That's pretty bad when you get an echo from England to Australia.
Yeah.
So, Paul,
2 years ago, people wouldn't believe it.
I'm just trying to catch up on myself. I've got a lot of half turn stuff, so I've got a few bowls I want to finish. I've done the outside.
I'm going on mute.
Right.
Like that. I've done the outside. I've just got to do the inside.
Oh, that's
quite
nice.
a few of these. So that the outside is done with a gesso texture and then airbrushed. Brush the dust off it.
I thought that it was rather a small bowl, like you put a rose stem in there, that would be all right.
Yeah, I guess you could, yeah. Yeah. Take the dust off it now. But yeah, I've got quite a few of these, all sorts of different colours.
Was it a product of a demo?
Yeah, a lot of them are. And that was another one.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all done on the outside, but not on the inside. So I've got a few of those to catch up on. Yeah, there's a couple over there behind me as well. So yeah, so we've got quite a few things like that.
Yeah, gesso is the forgotten art of decorating wood, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not seen many people use it, but
No.
I quite like it because it's fairly easy to do, which suits me fine. And if you don't like it, you just turn it off and do it again.
Yeah, we used to do quite a few table lamps with coloured gesso in the centre of them, you know.
Yep. But I've got my cameras set up on my lathe and stuff, so I've got that one there. That one there, and that one there. That's a close-up one. But put a Allen key under it. That's the size of the end of an Allen key. So that one I use when I'm doing demos to do close-ups on tips of tools and stuff like that.
It's got to go right through, Jay. It's got to split right through.
So, forgive my ignorance. What is gesso?
It's what artists use to prime a canvas. It's sort of quite thick, so it acts as a filler, and you put it as a base coat on a canvas before you paint your painting on top. Or at least that's what artists use it for. But I use it because of its thickness. You can use it as a texture medium, and I do a few different basic textures with it. One is just running a coarse brush through it. You just buy your cheapest brushes you could find, like get a good wide 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch wide brush or something like that, and just run that across the gesso. Once you've put it on, just turning the bowl slowly. Obviously, you turn it slow, because otherwise you end up with a white stripe just down there. I know, because I've done that. But I do other textures like stipple textures, and you can put like afro combs and texture it with that, all sorts of things like that. I mean, I've got no other use for an afro comb, so I use it for texturing the bowls.
Yep, right out. Now turn it.
But this one, I don't know how well the camera is going to pick it up, but that's got a stipple texture on it.
Yeah, you can see it.
You see that?
Yeah.
And the way I do that one, that sort of came about by accident. I was doing a trade show once and demonstrating at the trade show and demonstrating how to put the gesso on and texture it. And what I always have to remember to do is I turn the outside of the bowl on a screw chuck, then do the gesso, and then take the bowl off, because the gesso takes about an hour to dry. So doing that at a trade show, I took the idea was I'd do that, put the gesso on, take it off the lathe, put it to one side and work on another one or do something else. And I got to the point where I'd finished putting the gesso on, and I realized I'd forgot to loosen the piece of wood off the screw chuck. I always just loosen it a couple of turns so I can just grab it with my fingertips and unscrew it without interfering with the gesso I've just put on. And I forgot. So I put a piece of kitchen towel over it so I could grab hold of it without getting it all over my hand. And then when I peeled it off after I got the bowl off, I thought, oh, that's quite a nice texture. So I did the whole bowl like that. I made it look like I meant to do it. So I still use that one now.
Glad wrap or cling wrap works really good too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can bubble wrap, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. You're really only limited by the imagination. Anything that puts a mark in it.
Yeah, tile cement spreaders and all sorts of stuff like that. But you can buy what they call an acrylic texture medium, and it's similar to gesso, but it's just thicker.
Yeah.
And gesso, I just say to people, gesso is like the consistency of yogurt. So you get a bit of a build to it. But you can buy this texture medium that's a much thicker paste, and you can get a much deeper sort of texture with that by putting it on much thicker and doing what you want with it. But I don't use that often, but I have got some of that in the cupboard somewhere.
Have you ever used plaster of Paris as well, Paul?
No, I haven't. I mean, I think gesso has got plaster in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things they put in it, but I've not used it separately because it tends to be quite brittle, doesn't it?
Well, it can be, but once it's in sort of encapsulated on something, it's quite hard.
Yeah,
but the thing I like with plaster of Paris or even gesso is that you can mix stains with it. Like you mix water-based stains and things with it, so you can put the stains straight into it.
Yeah. I mean, I use it separately, or put that on first and then put the colours on. I just airbrush the colours on, but yeah, you can mix it in and do all sorts of it. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to slap my hand here. I'm talking arty now.
Yeah. That's all right. That's allowed. So what's Jay making in the corner? In the corner on my screen, anyway.
Sorry, what's that?
What's Jay making?
A sanding stick.
Oh, okay, yeah. Always come in handy these days.
Yes. I never had one, and he was trying to use a block on the inside of a bowler and kept catching on the edges. So.
Yeah, one I use sometimes on small openings is just a length of dowel with a split cut in the end of it. So you put a piece of abrasive in the split, wrap it round.
That's what he's making now.
If you're trying to sound something that's cylindrical, that sort of works. But if you've got curves, that doesn't work terribly well. But yeah, that gets you at least some of it.
Yeah, I've got some for my deep hollowing that are up to 2 foot long to be able to get down the bottom. Because there's always those people who look at it and say, you didn't sand it down there, and they bring a flashlight just so they can look.
Yeah.
Jay, why are you using a bowl gouge? Why not use your spindle roughing gouge and take the bloody thing down? It's a 2-second job.
Well, it's been in the workshop a while, so it's covered in dust.
Did you like that one, Robbo?
Yeah, mongrel.
I put him on mute. Is that your family in the background, Blair?
It's my girlfriend's. Keep
I've been out with, I think I've been out with some Sheilas like that over the years.
Hey, when you get them like that coming around your house, you know how to kick them out of you coming in your house?
No.
You get some treadmills, you line them up around the front and connect them up to your house for your power. And then when they're trying to get into the house, they're running on the treadmills. So all your zombie girlfriends can't get in, but they're powering your house for you.
There you go.
See? Up there for thinking. It's up there for something it ain't thinking, that's for sure.
A good
There you go, look.
storyline.
Yeah, it is. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Get these cameras lined up.
Well, you don't have to keep going back and looking at the monitor. We can tell you if it's wrong. Go up a little bit.
Yeah, usually when I do this on Zoom, I have my little tablet also connected up to the same stream, but I haven't bothered with that today. I thought I can just about see the monitor if I sort of peer over the headstock of my leg that's over to the left of my leg.
Hey, if Robbo sees where you've got that, if Robbo sees where you've got that chuck to, I don't think he'd be too impressed.
What's that?
That's all right. You didn't see anything in the camera.
slightly smaller spigot than that, but never mind.
It's all right. I was just giving you shit.
Don't tell anyone.
Okay. You watch Robbo go.
Medium. That's really
Does
cool.
make a difference actually, though. But yeah, I obviously got it wrong on that one. Right.
Just don't go back and watch it. All right, Robbo.
I will.
How do you get the different colors to blend? You wait for some to semi-dry before you apply.
I spray them
The
on
other
with an
colour?
airbrush.
Oh, cheating.
So if you're airbrushing the colours on, you can be quite precise about how much you put on and where you put it. So it allows you to blend colours quite easily.
Hey, Paul?
Because I'm not what I would call an artist by any means.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Paul's Robert's asking you a question in the chat, Paul.
Hang on, let me pull the chat up.
It's all right. How did you go about getting a one-way over to the UK?
I bought it in the UK, actually. It's a second-hand one. This used to belong to Ray Key. I bought it from his wife after he passed away.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there is actually still a supplier of one-ways in the UK. There is an agent in the UK. So you can buy them in the UK.
I didn't think they exported. That was the whole... I think that's why Robert's asking, because we can't get them in Australia.
Okay. But there's a place called the Tool Post used to be the UK agent, but they closed down like September last year. But somebody else has taken over as the one-way agent now. But there's also a website, One Way Europe, and you can order direct from there. And I think that stuff comes from Germany. So it might
I
cost a
used
little
to-
bit more for us for shipping, but yeah, they actually seem to have the Europe
I used to
covered
get-
in terms of supply.
I used to get all my tools from the tool post. Lovely lady,
Yeah.
Sheila.
Oh yeah, I know Sheila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I use a lot of Henry Taylor tools, and they're hard to get in Australia. So
Yeah.
she always looked after me.
Yeah. I mean, regular contact with Sheila. She's our the newsletter editor for the AWGB.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
her trade is graphics design. I think she worked at the tool post as a bit of a sort of sideline, but I think her main field of expertise is graphic design and publishing
right.
and stuff like that. She does quite a bit of that. Right, get back over to the.
Seems like a very nice lady with a good sense of humour.
Yeah, she certainly has. She doesn't stand for any nonsense though. She tells us off if we don't toe the line.
So at least you got someone keeping you in line then. Huh?
That's not very well centered either.
No,
Well,
got a bit of wobble.
It appears to be in the chuck pretty well.
Got a little bit of wobbleosity to it.
Yeah, I mean it's been sitting around for quite a long time, so it might have dried out and moved a bit.
Might have warped a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it has. I think it's
not too bad in the main body.
Yeah, it's there, and yeah, I think it's just gone slightly oval. I'll carry on.
So do I put a bit of padding in between the sandpaper and the stick, or no?
No, just put the sandpaper straight. You need a strip about 3 or 4 inches long, and you slide it in, and then you turn it. Make sure you turn it around the right way so the sandpaper's sticking up, not the paper bit. Yeah, that looks about right. Yep.
Just a little bit more off. Yeah, I always have a bit of over painting on that edge, so I just need to make sure I cut enough of it away to get rid of it. Yeah, that's got it. Cool.
Before anybody else asks, Paul, what timber is it? Not listening. Yeah, I agree, Robert. I think it probably is, but what sort of timber is it, Paul?
This one's ash, I think.
Right.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it's ash. Yeah, I like ash. It's a good sort of versatile wood. You can do all sorts with it, can't you?
Yeah. Don't get much of it out here, unfortunately.
Good one.
Yes, you are. You and Harry.
Yeah, I don't know. Harry might not be an ash man.
I'm going to try and move this camera slightly. I keep knocking into it. It's just in my way. I can prop that there. Oh, that's not too bad there, is it? All right, see if that's any better. That's better.
All right, I'm sorry, folks. I've got to go over and I've got to go and have some lunch. So if you're still on shortly, I'll come be back in. But
Yeah. Okay.
See you later, Robbo.
Asta.
Is he gone? Right, just switching gauge. That one needs sharpening. I'll grab a sharp one.
You can definitely tell the difference by the shavings.
That's better.
Tomorrow I should have some video to share yous in the share screen section. I've just we went for a drive yesterday, so I got Amber to record our journey and such.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's too big of a file to transfer over Messenger, so we're doing it via Bluetooth, and it's taking about 4 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, Bluetooth isn't. Yeah.
Bluetooth isn't the best, but that's our only option at the moment.
Yeah, sometimes. Be interesting to see what it's like where you live.
And unlike some, we recorded ours right up to our front door. I don't care who sees where we live.
Yeah, well. Have you heard the term crazy American?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy bloody Yank.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the yank.
We definitely get them. That bowl has some really nice grain to it.
How you going, Neil? How are you?
Oh, you're gonna make Robert. He's gonna want to charge you royalty rights now.
For what? I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
look, Robert's got it right though. With people like Dark living in the States.
See? He knows.
Neil, Robbo will be back in about half an hour. He's just gone to have lunch.
No. So what are you turning there, Paul?
Pardon? So I missed that. What'd you say?
I just asked what you were turning, Paul.
Oh, this is ash.
Do you know what sort of ash?
Just English ash. I think we only have one
Righto.
sort. I don't know of any others in the UK. Or, well, actually, yeah, we get mountain ash, which we call rowan. But no, this is just ordinary ash.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a gouge with a steeper bevel. That one there is probably what I want.
You got to watch out for Robert though, because he's an ash man.
Yeah. Yeah, I like ash, but yeah, it's just ordinary ash here, and I'll do a bit more with the other gauge first.
No, we get
To be honest,
I'll just pick...
try, that's all.
Pardon?
Before,
We've got a crow's ash, a blue ash, a red ash. Yeah, and half a dozen more.
I've reached the point where the ordinary gauge, I can't get the bevel contact at the bottom because of the undercut, so I've just switched to a steep, a bowl gauge with a steeper bevel on it. The bowl bottom gauge, as they call it. This one's got about a 70-degree bevel on it.
I like that tool. I mean, the handle on that is excellent. I don't often see a heavy, well-built tool that long.
It's about right so far.
So, Paul, Hodge has a question for you.
Yep.
Question is does your glazier gouge compare to other gouges? I've heard they hold their edges really well.
Yes, it's V15 steel, which is supposed to hold its edge really well. So yeah, good stuff. But yeah, I mean that one, I'll put it under this camera here. You'll show you the edge of it. That way, from that way there. But you see there, it's quite a deep bevel. There you go. So the primary bevel, the one that actually is the working bevel, that's about 70 degrees, something like that, and it's a U-shaped flute on this one. But yeah, it's designed as a bolt bottom gauge, and it's very good for doing that actually. Because with that undercut, I got to the point where the gauge I was using was around about a 50 degree bevel, and with that one, I was losing contact on the bevel as I was hitting the bottom of that curve because of the undercut on the side and the depth of the bowl. So yeah, I was losing the bevel contact and getting chatter. So, but hopefully this one will finish it. I've got another couple of cuts probably. I can feel a little bit of a bump right in the bottom. Sort that out. I think it's good to go.
How you going, Dave?
Switch to gauge number 3, just to do that bit in the middle.
How you going, Sid?
Better. That's on that one. My microphone crackling, or is it somebody else's?
No, it sounds like someone needs a windscreen on their mic.
Yeah, I think, Neil, can you mute yourself for a sec, please?
Can do, mate.
If it was me. As long as it's not me, I don't mind. It's not a problem. I just is that my mic?
No, sounds like it needs a windscreen.
Just every movement that a phone does, if it's rubbing on a bit of material or something, the microphone will pick it up.
Yeah.
Or just breathing
Did that
if you have
help?
it the right.
Because I can still hear crackling at my end.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one done anyway.
Here.
No, you're all right. You can unmute it, Neil.
I'll just unmute it when I need to talk.
Might have just been a bit of loop feedback, maybe.
I've got this
I've
one
reminded
here.
the other members, Paul, don't forget tomorrow for our club meeting.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I'll have to set myself a reminder for that, or I'll forget.
Got a demonstration on. Should be good.
Yeah. Yeah. John Jordan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be good. No, I've seen him before. I think he came over to the UK to the seminar maybe 10 years or so back. But yeah, he's does some good stuff.
Paul, Sid
Yes.
wants to know what headset you're using.
It's a Sennheiser. It's an XS wireless, or that's what it says on the receiver. The transmitter, it says it's an SK-XSW, but it's supposedly a broadcast quality mic.
Yep,
and you can actually set different channels on it. On both the receiver and the transmitter, you can select one of a whole load of different channels. So if you're getting interference on one channel, you can set another one. But I quite like it because it seems to cut out all the machine noise. I mean, even when I've got the lathe going and my extractors going and stuff like that, you play back the the video afterwards, and you can't hear any of the machinery. And so I quite like it. But when I got this, when I started doing demos, I had a cheap mic that just plugged into the mic socket on the laptop and used that one, and it was okay, but it wasn't brilliant. But my two sons are both into sort of media production. One of them is a sound recordist for one of the TV companies, so he does sound on some of the live broadcasts and stuff like that. And the other one works in theatre production and that sort of thing, in sound and lighting. So I asked both of them what they suggested, and this is what came out of that discussion.
He asked if you could spell it for him, please.
Yeah, just give me 1 sec. I'll get the box it came in. It's just out here. Big box for a little mic. It is, well, yeah, it says XS Wireless 1. If I put that up there, that's what you get in the kit. You get the receiver, the transmitter, and the headset, all part of the set. They're not cheap, I'll tell you that now. I spent more on the microphone. I've spent more on the audio than I did on the cameras. But the way both my sons, but the way both my sons put it to me is, if you've got slightly dodgy video and it gets a little bit pixelated, people will still watch. If your audio starts breaking up, people just switch off. If once they can't understand what you're saying, then you've lost them basically. You can get away with a little bit of sort of noise and interference on your video perhaps, but with the audio it gets to the point where people can't understand what you're saying, and you've lost it basically. So I thought it was worth getting a decent audio kit. You got that written down? Can I put it away now?
Yeah,
No
guess
response.
so.
I guess
They
somebody
can always go play it back off YouTube.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a very good set. I'm quite pleased with the way it performs. But like I said, it's not cheap. But on the one good thing is on the transmitter, on the receiver, which is up behind my laptop on a pile of wood at the moment actually. But if the batteries are going in my headset, there's a little icon that flashes on the receiver, which I can see without having to get this transmitter out of my back pocket. So that's quite handy, and I can see it's flashing, and I'll go and grab myself some more batteries before it dies completely. So that's quite useful. But yeah, it gives you can adjust the output of the transmitter, you can adjust the volume output from the receiver, and as I said, you can set different channels on it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite a versatile headset.
When you say expensive, how much are we talking?
The microphone, this stuff that came in this box, the microphone and the receiver, there's just under 300 quid, 280 something like that. So yeah, not far off 300. There was another set that was very similar, but there's one that's legal for use in the UK in terms of the frequency bands, and one that isn't. And this is the one that is. So it was a few pounds more because of for some reason they sell the other one cheaper, but it's one that technically you shouldn't be using in the UK anyway, because it's not licensed for the UK frequency bands that have been allocated. But in addition to that, I've got a little mixing desk thing, which is I've got a bag over it so it doesn't get covered in dust and shavings and stuff. It's a Yamaha AG03 mixing console. Let me just pull that microphone out, that camera out. See that little box there? that's what I've got for my audio goes into that on this XLR cable at the back. That's connected to my laptop with USB, and I can set my level on my audio through that, and also my speakers are going through that as well. So that basically this replaces the sound card in the PC or in the laptop. So it does all your audio functions on that. Hopefully better than what the one in the laptop does, but it's better quality audio. But that is about another £100.
Yeah. Hey, going, Shay. Sid,
Try and put my camera back where
I've got like the massive version of that little sound deck that he's got there, Sid.
Yep.
So before you go buy one, Sid, let me know, because I've got one sitting under my stairs you can have for a bargain price. I paid $400 for it, and it's got 16 channels and four
I've seen
microphones.
that. They're very good, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Well, but I don't use it anymore. I had it for my my monitor speakers, so they could be powered. But yeah, if you want, Sid, you're more than welcome to it.
Yeah, this I think it's got a couple of other inputs. Like there's one that says guitar and one that says keyboard. So
yeah,
I think it's aimed at a basic sort of music setup. But
like a home studio kind of thing.
Mic input,
yeah. But you can actually get nice cheap ones too, Sid. If you want, you can get like my original one was $120, I think, and it was a 4-channel. So and they don't all look like what he's got. You can get some that stand upright. They're all different ones, but I think it's called Hyde Music or Allen's Music or something like that in the city. Go there. Definitely get a much better deal than something online, and then you're not paying for delivery either.
Yeah. I mean, really what I'm doing with the mixer is just using that to set my audio level out. But it also I've never used it this way, but you can actually feed another audio into it, mix the two, and that comes out on the stream. But I'm not sure that I will ever use it that way, but it does give you that sort of flexibility. You've got an auxiliary input on it as well, so you can feed that in from another device. But and you get an app that you put on you can download it and put it on your laptop or your PC, and actually adjust the frequency response as well. And you can play around with the frequency response and set the equalization for different types of voice. And you can play around with that to your heart's content as to what you think works for your particular style of voice, I suppose. I mean, I had to play around with it and tried a few of the different default ones and found one that I think seemed to work all right for me. But you can change that to all sorts of different options.
Yeah, the place I find that when I help people with audio, is earlier life I did a lot of motion picture work and TV work, and the place to get the cheap stuff is the pawn shops when bands go broke.
Yeah.
And they bring it in, and if you get a pawnbroker that doesn't know audio equipment or cameras, that's the place to get it. And you can bargain with them on it.
But I mean, I've got my cameras, the ones that are the two that are pointing at the lathe, they're both on microphone stands. And I mean, I was giving them, actually. They were spare ones my son had, so he said, "Oh, you can have these." So they didn't cost me anything. But one of the other guys in one of the meetings we were in, I think he said he went to, as you said, went to a pawn shop or somewhere like that and picked up a couple of mic stands for next to nothing. So those are quite handy. But all you need to do is, generally the mic stand's got a different thread on than the camera. It's I think it's either a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch instead of a 1/4 inch on the camera. But you can buy little adapters off Amazon for a couple of quid each to adapt the two from one thread to the other. So I've got one of those fitted to both of these. But using the mic stands instead of a camera tripod, most mic stands have a horizontal boom built in, and these two have got like a telescopic boom, so I can adjust the height and I can adjust how far I want the horizontal boom as well. So I can put them over where I need them. Whereas if I got a tripod, I'd have to buy an extra bit to do the horizontal boom bit, because most tripods you don't get that with them. So yeah, it worked quite well.
The other thing I found in helping people is that tripods can tip. They're actually not, they're balanced for a person who wants to hold them, and they, with a camera to make the camera steady. So with a mic stand, it's so much easier just to sit there and put the stand, because the stand usually has a heavy base to it.
Yeah.
And the other thing you can get dirt cheap are, of course, the sandbags are part of the grip equipment. They're just bags, you put sand in and sew up.
Yeah.
And they have it.
Yeah, that's one thing I almost fell foul of. One of my I don't think it's the one I'm using at the moment, but I was using a different microphone boom originally. That one, it wasn't quite as stable as this. And when I had the camera on full extent, it was toppling over. So I was counterweighting it. I mean, I'm in my workshop, so I just grab a lump of wood and put that on the base to hold it down. But yeah, something more permanent, like a sandbag strapped to the bottom of it, would be ideal. Or even
all
a brick.
part of grip equipment. They're called grips, or stagehands in theatrical work, but a grip, because they pick up stuff and they grip it and carry it where their boss tells them to put it.
Well, I'll put another bowl on the lathe then. I think this one's pine. That's going to be fun.
How's the sanding coming, Jay?
Bloody boring. That's how it's coming.
The secret is to do all the hard work with the first grit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to do so much with all the others.
Oh, I've been trying it with the Dremel.
That's a better fit on the truck. That's about right, actually.
Yep. Same wood.
No, this one I think is pine.
Okay.
Which makes it interesting. That'll do.
I'll bid you guys farewell. Got to head off. Talk to you later.
All right, I thought I could smell something. See you later.
See you later, Neil.
Oh, what a tough crowd, man! I tell you.
What?
Neil just said he's off, and I said I thought I could smell something.
Something's a bit off.
Yeah. Ew. Maybe like that.
Yeah, that's definitely pine. Smell it. Put the rest up a little bit. That's better.
It looks very dense.
It's yellow pine, I believe, which is slightly denser than some of the construction pine.
Yeah.
So sort of furniture grade pine, I suppose, is how you describe it. So yeah, it probably is a little bit denser than some of the construction timber. Doesn't turn too bad, actually.
Yeah, some nice shavings coming off there.
Yeah, a few years back, somebody offered me some lumps of this yellow pine. I think they were sort of 8x3 in section and 3 foot long, something like that. And I thought, well, I might use it for something, so I bought them. But I think I've still got quite a few of them. I've used a bit, but it's definitely still got a few bits. I thought that was not there. I could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that. That'll do. I'm just going to sharpen these gauges before we go any further. I'll do.
Looks like you got a nice finish on it too.
Pardon?
Looks like you got a nice finish on it from the tool directly.
Not too bad. It still needs sanding, yes, but yeah, it's reasonable. Considering that's pine, I'm not too unhappy with that. Yeah, I think the worst bit of that one is that first ½ an inch under the rim. That's probably where it's going to need the most sanding. But the rest of it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, being pine, it does sand quite quick anyway, doesn't it? So
Yeah,
should be
but
right.
it gums up sandpaper.
It does, yeah. But again, you do all the hard work with the coarse one, don't you?
Yep.
And now for something completely different, as they say. I've got this one here, which is oak that's been ebonized with a blue grain infill.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, that's nice.
But do you use the vinegar and wild wool solution? That's what I put that on that to make it black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I was a teenager, 13, 12. I'd be the one that would sit and mix that up for my grandfather. He was teaching me woodworking.
Yeah. But there's that one. I've got another one here. I'll show you this one as well. This one's the same, but this one I used red on it, so it's ebonized and then a red grain fill. I don't know if the camera's picking that up too well, but
It is. Yeah, looks good.
It's got some red in that one.
So,
yeah,
Paul,
I do these with. Sorry,
what are you going to do with all of these?
I'll sell them eventually. I'm not doing any shows at the moment, but I'll sell some on my website. I've got a gallery I've just sort of been signed up for literally last week. So yeah, some of it goes out through galleries, some of it goes out on my website, and some of it at exhibitions. But I don't think I've got any exhibitions until about October this year. Normally I do a few a year. I mean, I only sort of do the woodworking part time. I've got a full time job, so I don't do that many. But yeah, that the few exhibitions I do in the odd sort of gallery here or there is enough for the amount I produce. Because, like I said, I'm working full time, and some of the turning I do demos, and some of it I do teaching. So normally I have people in my workshop and do lessons and stuff, but haven't done any of those for over a year.
Yeah.
So I've got a whole sort of queue of people waiting, because I had a few people booked and paid sort of before the lockdown started March last year, so they're still waiting. And I think all bar one, they've all been patient and said, yeah, we'll come back when it's sort of safe to do so, and only one of them asked for a refund actually.
Good.
But I mean, the one that asked for a refund said they might well come back, but they just didn't want to wait. Me hold on to their money while they were waiting. I think I might do a run or something. All right, so I've got this one. This one's going to be a bit harder, I suppose, because it's out, but shouldn't be too bad. I just want to true up that rim first. Yeah, with most of these coloured bowls that I do the colouring on the outside while it's still solid. I've still got a bit of a saw mark there and there, so I need to take a little bit more off that one. So I do the colouring while it's solid. Then when I clean off the top, I get rid of any overspill of whatever colour I happen to have been using, and I get a clean edge then. Whereas otherwise, you've got to try and mask it, and sometimes that doesn't work because some finishes will bleed under the masking. So I think it's best to do it this way round. Always seems to work for me anyway.
Makes sense.
But if it does bleed under, I suppose you can always colour the whole rim, make it look like it was deliberate, can't you? Occasionally I've done bowls with a coloured rim to accent something or other, so yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah, I would say the majority of bowls that I've done, other than for friends and relatives, have been collection plates for churches, baptismal plates for churches. And they just want it finished. They don't want it painted at all.
Hi, Michael. How are you? Welcome. We have Michael returning down under. Quick time in.
Yeah, Robo stepped off because his wife had his lunch ready. He'll be back in.
You see that range of movement I put in the gauge through from there at the start point to there at the finish. I'm not moving my feet. I've got my feet already in a position where I can go from there where I'm sort of leaning over the bed to there where I'm sort of back on my left leg without moving my feet. So I always try and do that. I get my feet in a good position to start with, so I can do that full curve without having to sort of take a step in the middle of it, because I think if you do that, you tend to sort of just lose the flow slightly, and you might just change the direction of movement of the gouge slightly and put in a step or a change in the curve where you don't want it.
Welcome, Joy. Glad you made it.
I was taught as a kid that you always stand in the position you want to end up in and then shift your weight to start. You know, the starting position.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
you
always
don't
makes
have
sense
to take a step.
almost to do that backwards. This is where I finish. This is where I start. Can I do that without moving my feet?
Right.
And if you can do that, you've got yourself in a pretty stable sort of position. And yeah, it's definitely one worth thinking about, because if you get that right, it just makes the whole thing easier.
Well, I was told it's the same as learning to walk. It's something that you learn and it becomes a habit, like climbing stairs.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, teaching a kid to climb stairs isn't easy. But once you get used to it, they're running up and down, and as parents, you're saying, no, don't run so fast. And, you know, they're 4 years old.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the other thing that I have that I was taught was that if you know what you're doing, we've always had a remote control for power because the lathes were too big and the power switch was often like a fuse box where you'd pull a handle to turn the lathe on and it was one speed. That's because that's the way my grandfather, they converted. It was all belt drive originally, the water wheel. And you couldn't get to that. So they had another one that they would move and you could have it near you, and it was on a metal stand, so you'd drag it around so you know you could reach it to turn it off if you had to.
Yeah, definitely.
And never stand in the way of the belt or the wood.
Very true.
Belts were known to come unlaced, and
yeah, I mean, there's a chance they could snap as well, isn't there? I suppose. Yeah, you don't want to be in
that I only saw that happen once, and happened to be my mother was there at the time, and I was like, they say I was like 10, and at that time it was, you're never coming back here. To see the belt go flying, and it was probably a 25-foot belt.
Yeah.
When they got rid of the belts, then and they modernized, that's when I could hang out with my grandfather and his crew.
How you going, Michael? What part of AU are you in? How you going, Joy?
Oh, turning pens is a dirty word around here. Goes right up there with carbide.
Tread lightly there, boyo.
That's right. But
that's right.
Once Robbo comes in, those are not no words.
That's right. He looks like he's in the same state as Robbo anyway. So.
Gotcha.
What part of Melbourne, Michael, if you don't mind me asking? A professional turner that comes in here by the name of Robbo Robinson. He lives in Turin.
I like a shirt like that. I'd buy another.
Yep. No, you have to drive through that suburb to get to Robbo's house. Yep. Did you ever have a we had a TV commercial here years ago, and it was about making sure your kids had their seatbelts on in the car. So you were told to belt your kids.
Yeah. Sit down, shut up. You're going to get belted.
No, that's the belt that goes across the seat belt.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Doing a double entendre.
Sure. Yeah, I had to make sure.
Or you could do both. The shut up part, maybe they needed another type of belt. It's still spelled the same.
Yeah.
So, Michael, just to get you up to speed, Paul, who's turning down there, is in the UK. He is the president of the...
No.
Oh, not president.
No, he's on the board, but I don't think he's the president.
Okay. Of UK Wood Turning Association, Society, something like that. And this is Dr. Bob. He's in America. And he turns every once in a while. At least he says he turns. We see him once. But you'll hear a lot from him. And I'm in the States. I'm in Utah, and I turn whenever.
And I do believe that someone has actually called Dr. Bob Windy Bob, one of his friends. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to laugh at that one. No, I'm not sorry, really, but yeah, Michael, do you know Robbo? Like, are you joined to any clubs that he goes to, or anything like that?
Sorry to hear that, Joy. Drink more caffeine.
Drink less caffeine. Don't listen to Blair Joy, all right? Lots and lots of water. And then if the water's not working, hydrolyze.
Mixed with vodka.
That's it. You got it. So I'm just gonna put this one back on the lathe and just give it a sanding. That's all it really needed now was sanding and finish. It's one that I had to tape up because I got a bit nervous about. Like all the,
Oh, yeah.
all the
So
splits
thin.
and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
because this is the same as the captured ring bowl. It's red gum and it moves a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, tell Blair not to stop doing his lives, eh? Go on. I've tried telling him, but my opinion's not worth the weight, my actual weight in gold, you see. It's about 200 kilos or something.
Not true, pal.
There you go. How you going, Robbo?
Hello.
So someone's been watching your YouTube videos and is planning to visit you one day. They live in Cranbourne.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah. Oh, you've been one of those tree people in the background, have you?
I just reading the comments.
Lurker.
I was working on this one earlier, little box. That's Kingwood.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that walnut.
It's a threaded one.
Oh, yeah.
So hand cut thread as well. There's a thread on the lid.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice wood for threading actually. It's quite dense, so it cut pretty good with the threading. That's the bottom half.
Yeah, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, nice wood.
Yeah. Did you see that, Blair? You're getting in trouble from Joy now.
Yeah, I got a little fed up this morning, Joy.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Carter & Son, their new threading tool. It's a unique design, and it's under $100.
That's pretty good.
It's a single. They got a ball in the middle, and both ends of it are for the different threading. So you got two ends, and you get the stability of holding the ball, and the shaft for the other end hits you on the wrist. So you have a lot of control over it, and it's kind of nice. You don't have a long pole like a lot of the thread chasers have.
Yeah, when I put handles on thread chasers myself, I always put very short handles on them. I mean, these are like the commercial ones. That's a Crown made that one, but I put an even shorter handle on that. See that in my hand? There's still some of the handles sticking out. When I make the handles for my thread chasers, it's short enough so you don't see anything sticking out of that end. So I just make it as short as possible. Because as opposed to most turning tools that you hold at your side, the thread chasers, certainly with the external one anyway, you're holding it in front of you, aren't you? So a short handle works better actually, because you don't have to stand so far away.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine I loaned a lathe to during the COVID, because he used to show up at my place, but that stopped. So I had a fairly decent lathe, but I surprised him and said, well, take it with you. It's a lot easier. And then load them down with tools. And that's what with the stimulus checks that we got, he said, I want to get you something. What do you want? And what type of pricing? And that's one of those luxury things that I've wanted, but I just don't have the money for. So, living on a retirement fund that was taken, a long time ago, it's not easy.
Yeah, I've picked up a few sets of these thread chasers at like car boot sales and things like that, and paid pennies for them almost. Some of them, it's just lucky to spot them, and yep, I love those.
Yeah. I got a lot of my tools that way.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
next week, typically our club, and you're welcome to come and join us, but I don't know what it's expensive to fly in, but we do an internal within our club swap and shop and wood and stuff like that, and a picnic at the same time. We get together, and we're going to have one next weekend. But it's strict social distancing rules, and they're figuring out how to handle it so it'll work well, but they think we ought to get together and do that at least. The only thing that to get the permit that they wanted was interesting is that make sure you have ample trash containers and recycle containers for putting in plates and plastic spoons. We don't want them blowing around in the wind.
Yeah.
Because typically they're on a table and people are sitting on big, long picnic tables. But now they're individual, like card tables.
So, Jay, how did that sanding stick work out? Another thing you can use is polystyrene foam. What you do is you make a block out of that and put sandpaper around it and keep it on the solid part while you're doing the wings.
It was, to be honest, if anything, it was just getting monotonous to me. And if I don't wash myself, I'll end up falling asleep. So I've swapped the piece and
No concentration, no perseverance. Typical young person.
Yeah, that's right. You got to now go on the lathe and turn something. Go on. And go. Yeah, it's a good thing that Dark's not in here because Hodgepodge is talking about double-ended stuff.
Yeah.
He can twist anything and make you laugh.
Gentlemen, I'm going to knock it on the head. I'm going to get out of here. Tammy's going to be home in a few, so I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, see you later, Blair.
Hey, Blair.
Yes, sir.
Did you go back and check out how deep your voice was in Sid's last night?
No. I know. It's just voice.
It actually sounded like you were using like a mic mod or something.
I'll have to go back and listen.
Okay, no worries.
See you guys later.
See you, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Sort of chuck that in there,
And Joy was saying the state was easing up on restrictions for school. The idiots decided to have a secret prom and set back the whole thing.
Yeah.
Actually, it surprises me that no other manufacturer has done that with thread chasers, has put the internal on one end and the external on the other.
Yeah,
instead
why
of
not?
having two separate
Good
tools.
idea. Yeah, Ashley Isles do one they call a uni chaser, and it's like an internal chaser, and you use it one way up for the inside and the other way up for the outside. But it's a bit of a compromise, really, because on a proper thread chaser, the front of the teeth has actually is set to the angle of the thread, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Whereas the one Ashley Isles make, it must be a vertical thread because you use it the other way up. So it's a bit of a compromise, I think, but it works. I mean, I've used the conventional thread chasers to cut a left-hand thread, so you're going against the bias of the teeth, but then you can do it as long as you. I mean, all I do is tilt the tool a bit more so you don't engage the front of the teeth quite so much, and that works. But with the coarser threads, it's a lot harder to do than it is with the finer threads. I found that out, but it's still doable if you get it right.
And do you use the arm? Do you use the armrest as well, Paul?
I've got one, but I don't normally use it. I suppose I don't do that. I don't do that much thread chasing, so So I mean, it was used by the people that used it as a speed thing. You don't have to move the rest. You put the rest in position and you just use the armrest.
Yeah.
But for me, speed isn't really the issue, I suppose. So I haven't used it a great deal. I have used it because I thought, yeah, I've got one. I'll see how I get on with it, and I can use it. But I generally don't. But I mean, I've seen people use that also to hollow the inside of the box. So you don't even move the rest around to do that. You do that
Yeah.
on the armrest as well. So you just set the armrest, set your tool rest across the length of the spindle as you would, and then it's all done
Yeah.
from there. And all the stuff inside the box you just do with the armrest, the hollowing
Yeah.
and the thread chasing.
No, I find the armrest awkward to use. I haven't cut many threads, I must admit, and it's a long time since I did. But
yeah, I suppose if you started doing lots of them, you get good with it and you get faster with it. So I think the benefit there is speed.
yeah,
So if you're doing production work and you've got lots of threads to do, I can see it makes perfect sense. But for the likes of me that just does the odd box here or there or the odd thread here or there, it doesn't really give me any huge benefit.
To anyone in the chat, in the typing chat, you're more than welcome to come into StreamYard. I'll put the link in the chat for anyone that wants to come in.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the Carter and Son is that the center of the handle is a metal ball. And that's always had me wondering about using it. And I've seen a couple of demonstrations over the years. But I got asked, and
G'day, Chris.
And I told them what I wanted, and it was, beggar. I won't say beggars or shouldn't be choosers. I didn't expect it in the first place, but it hasn't arrived yet. And it's made here in It's made here, so in the States.
How you going,
on the
Chris?
West Coast.
Joyce said apparently someone at this prom tested positive, so they all had to go back into quarantine. Yeah, well, that's fair enough too.
Yep, serves them right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
I suppose they're not only putting themselves at risk; it's all their families and anyone else they're having contact with, isn't it? Really?
Yep.
Uh-huh. But it's interesting because I have a friend of mine who's a total disbeliever. Thinks it's all hype, except that all of a sudden it was, oh, my his girlfriend's got it, and their family all have it. It's not phony then. It's a shame when it has to come down to that.
Yep.
Yep.
Except he's happy because, well, I've had my shots, and that's not a problem around the house here. So the best place for him to be is stay at his girlfriend's house. And the family has said, yes, that's probably the safest way of doing it. He's got the spare room.
Yep. Yeah, they're starting to ease the restrictions here now, one at a time. So it's heading the right way at the moment, but we'll see how it ends up once people start to move around a bit more.
Michigan blew it. We have more cases now than we have had since it started. And hospitals are filling up quickly.
Yeah.
And it's spreading back into the nursing homes, of which have tried to, shut down because communities seem to want to make their own rules in certain parts of the state because they're disbelievers.
Yep. Yeah, I saw something on the news earlier. They reckon there's a huge surge in India. People catching it. They reckon they had another, was it 200,000 cases in one day or something like that?
Yeah.
And they're running at 1,000 deaths a day at the moment. So yes, a lot in India. But I suppose it's a big country and a huge population. Isn't it? Is it about 1.2 billion?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in close
Yeah.
quarters too.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul,
Yes.
I got something for you to try.
Oh yeah.
Oh, show
I
off.
saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Must have seen it on Facebook or somewhere. That's a good idea. That.
Yeah. Don't be a dumb bastard
Interesting.
like me and pick the most brutalist wood you can find. You know.
Never seen a
So you
captured
just
ring.
parted
on
that
a
through,
wall.
did you, from the side?
Sorry.
So you just cut that through with like crank tools, did you?
I got a ring tool.
Yeah. Oh, a captive ring tool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joy wants to know, Bob, whether that if you get a vaccine shot, that you get a free beer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to go that sometime, Joe. I've not done it on a bowl. I've done it on spindles before, yeah, but I've never tried that on a bowl actually.
Yeah. Go on then, get to it.
Have you? Can you remember that guy in the States, Bob? Is it Jason? Is it Carter? Not. I don't think it is Carter. It's something beginning with a C. He does those Saturn bowls, doesn't he? Or Saturn boxes with parted off sections that rotate.
Yes.
Is Jason something beginning with a C? I'm not sure if it is Carter or something else. I don't think it is Carter.
It's been a long time since I've seen him. It was.
Yeah, I've got one here because he did a demo for the AWGB as a Zoom demo last year. It must have been about September, and he sent me the demo piece. I've got that here at the moment. Jason Clark, that's the one. Yeah, that's it. I knew it was something beginning with a C. But yeah, that's. Have you ever seen those, Jay?
He's ignoring you.
Listening. Oh, he's on mute anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go get it. It's only a demo piece, so it's not fully finished, but I'll go and grab it.
What? Was I meant to answer something then?
Just wait a second, Joe.
Right.
Well, Robo, since we're sitting still, how was your vacation?
I had a great time doing the things I like doing. Went up to a place on the Murray up here that has paddle steamers and all that sort of things, and yeah, very relaxing, just chilling out.
Good. We all need to escape. I think that to escape and do something, that's different than relax is very important mentally for people. And that's something that management often overlooks. The bigger companies that keep their upper crest of employees that they want around, they know about it. That's why they send them off on vacations and have cruises and that, just to keep the people that really count around in their company. Ford here does that all the time and have for years. So's Chrysler.
Oh, there's some that probably reckon I'm on holiday all the time.
Oh, I thought you were.
Oh, well, why not?
There you go, Michael. You got a new subscriber. There you go. I'll put Michael's YouTube channel in there. He's only got 4 subscribers. I think he needs some more.
Yeah, Paul's going to get a little wooden box that Jason Clark made that rotates.
Oi! It rotates like this, doesn't it?
No, not like that.
Come on now.
I couldn't find it, but I forgot it now. That one. But the outside two are a bit stiff, but that one rotates quite easily. The middle bit. But that's all turned out of a single piece of wood.
Tricky.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
It's done with a very thin parting tool, and you just cut in at about a 45-degree angle, halfway in from each side, and it separates the 2 rings, and that's done on that circle and that one.
Yep. Yeah, very interesting.
The it's distorted a little. It is turning. There you go, just lining it up again.
Yeah, good night, Joy.
See you, Joy.
I've lined it up. But that turns. See that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I've got it lined up. It turns again. Yeah, I think it's just gone out of shape slightly. Yeah, this was just done as a demo piece, so it's not sanded and finished. But yeah, Jason Clark, that was. He did a demo last year on it.
Very interesting. They're bloody hard. I would have shown.
I could be sanding my bowls too, but I think I'll leave that till tomorrow.
They can't keep you all up because we want to make sure you hit our demo tomorrow.
Yeah. It's late afternoon, that is for me, so shouldn't be a problem.
Robert's got a question in the chat for someone.
For Paul.
It could be. It's just a thin piece of metal, obviously, but I can't remember what he used, but I think it might have been an ordinary parting tool that was just, what was a fairly thin parting tool to start with, that he's just ground the sides thinner yet more, so it's less than 1 millimeter thick. I think it is half a millimeter or something like that. But the rest of the tool is thicker. It's just the tip that's thinned down. So I suppose you keep a bit of rigidity and strength by just keeping the rest of the tool thicker. Yeah, I got this that this was an experiment I did a little while ago. You see those ridges in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I turned it while it was still quite green because the spindle that this came from was already getting these ridges in it, and I thought, well, that'd be interesting. So I just turned it green, to see what happened to it. And as it dried, these ridges sort of appeared. But if you look at the end on, let me get those at the top there. It's just a little bit sort of rippled on the edge where the ridges sort of meet the edge.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah, it's just interesting the way it's dried. But that, I'm not putting any finish on that. I just turned it as an experiment, really, just to see what would happen to it. But I've got another 3 foot length of it. I thought I'd try and dry that out and see what I can do with it. But tree of heaven, that is Ailanthus. I don't think I've ever used it before, but somebody gave me this piece, and I thought, yeah, that looks interesting. I'll have a go at that.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's just great to sit down and play.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do enough of it, I don't think. I just come out here and I have a job to do and I turn something and make it. But I think I need to do more of that, just experimenting and having a play. So, yeah.
And Robert says madrone wood does something similar as it shrinks and distorts a lot as it dries.
Oh.
And some of our eucalypts will do the same thing. They shrink in the soft
I've
grain.
used a bit of eucalyptus in the past and always found that to move huge amounts. But I've not seen anything that has sort of got quite so ridged as that as it's dried. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, well, a lot of our timber work moves actually more than most of the population.
Yeah. I think in my early days of turning, someone said, "Did I want some eucalyptus?" And I said, I jumped at the charts, went round there, got a carload, and I think I got 2 little pieces out of it that actually succeeded. Everything else split.
Yeah, Robert must be signing off. Good night, Robert.
Yep.
Cheers.
And Harry.
There, Harry and Robert.
Can't forget Harry. You had a chance to do anything on a lathe since you've been back from vacation?
No. Jeez, I only got home at 11 o'clock, well, 11:30 last night. And Copper Owl's Rob's also saying good night.
See you later, Rob.
Yep. You take any pictures?
No. All the pictures I take are all up here.
That's what I was about to say.
I've got a couple of good cameras, and I very rarely take them anywhere with me.
Yeah.
Because they they're sitting over the lathe, don't they?
Sorry?
They sitting over the lathe too much.
No, I've got a good Canon camera as well, but I just never think to take pictures.
Yeah.
Well, today cell phones has become the common camera for anybody.
Well,
some of the newer ones are better than expensive 35 millimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My phone doesn't take pictures either. It's one of those phones that just takes calls and receives calls. Oh, and occasionally I get a text message on them, you know.
Yep.
Wow. I haven't seen one of those phones for a long time.
And believe it or not, I have never sent a text. If I want to talk to somebody, I'll ring them up.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, trust me. If he was gonna send a text, it'd take him about a month to write it. I
Yeah. Well, with fingers like these, you know, they're a bit fat.
think. Yeah, most people use their thumbs these days.
My thumbs are a bit crooked.
Make the phone look like a skew or a spindle gouge, and it'll fit beautifully, won't it?
Well, that's right.
It'd be like the Get Smart TV series and movies.
Yeah, that's it.
The phone
Yep.
was hidden in different items. You then screw the handle of the gouge and talk to it.
Yep. I'm still waiting for my shoe phone.
I'm just going to put the kettle on. I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
That sounds like a capital idea.
Black with honey, thanks. Must be getting a bit late in your neck of the woods there, Dr. Bobo.
Yeah, it's 11:31.
And all the youngsters went to bed.
Let's see.
Well, it's even earlier for poor old Paul. It's 4:32 in the morning for him. Half past
Damn,
4 in the morning.
No wonder he's going to make a drink.
Yeah.
2 shots of no-dos and two scoops of coffee, thanks. So, Robbo.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Is this your ashtray?
Not mine.
No, not yours. Oh. I thought it was.
It's not big enough.
That's about right.
Can anyone hear the kids out the front yelling and carrying on like pork chops?
No, I can't. But then I don't hear much anyway.
What?
I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
No. He needs to connect his kettle up to Alexa, I think.
Well, I have a coffee pot, the type where you put the cartridge in and
Yep.
it forces it through. Keurig
A pod.
started it. And yeah, they've got them now that are voice operated.
Yep.
So you can be like in a food store or wherever you need a cup of coffee. You swipe your card, you tell it what you want, and you can see it drop the cartridge in and put the steaming hot water through it and put it directly into the cup, and depending on what you wanted, it actually puts a whipped cream or whatever or syrup in it, a dash of chocolate. What type of chocolate? Custom
The stuff
coffee.
that makes you fat, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, this is my abrasive paste.
You're going to have to package it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind
Sell
one day. I wouldn't mind one day. There's a place here called Northland Distributors, and they sell all the packaging for all that. In fact, pretty much anything like that. So I'll go there eventually. But yes, I wouldn't mind trying to market it a little bit.
I'd buy some off you.
I'd give it to you for free. Anyone else that wants to buy some other than you can pay for it. Wonder how many of the tree people in the background left because I started using my own grit.
Yeah.
That's just beeswax, isn't it? With an alcohol base.
There's mineral oil, really, in beeswax, yeah. It's a matter of finding a mineral oil that's not fragranced. No, it's easy enough.
Yeah, I know people that use it as a laxative, and they only care about the taste. They don't want it to smell fancy.
Yep. And also too, I only get my beeswax from a beekeeper.
Direct from the manufacturer.
Yep. He's the middleman.
Back again.
Oh, stop talking about him. He's back.
So what's that wood, Jay?
That's red gum.
Oh, nice. Looks nice.
Yeah, it's the same as the captured ring bowl. It's from the same burl I got from Robbo.
Mm-hmm.
I made this one probably close to a month ago, and me being me, I hit the hard basket part and just put it to the side and started another one.
Right.
So last 2 days have been taking tenons off of bowls and and finishing them up. So I don't have a pile of WTFs lying around. You see?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got piles of unfinished all sorts lying around in here.
It's a bad habit, isn't it?
Mm.
I think it's a bad habit for me anyway. It's just too easy to do. Like, get over there in the corner, you'll be right. Blow the
Yeah, I
dust
mean,
off.
some of them were demo pieces, and I sort of half did them in the demo, and
Yeah.
I finish that off sometime, but they mount up.
They just sell them like that and sell it with instructions and say this is what you need to do to finish it.
Could do, yeah.
All right.
Why the brush? To get wax out of cracks?
Yeah, just to get it out of the little really tiny splits and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I do the same. I just work it with either with a shoe brush or a toothbrush or something.
Yeah, but when I put the clear lacquer over the top, that's stuck under it then. So this is This is basically the same. This is just paste. This one, it's just the other one was abrasive. That's eggshell, the abrasive.
Yep.
Finely grinded.
Yeah, he makes his own. I had never heard of using eggshell, but that does make sense.
Yeah. Damn sight easier to get hold of and cheaper than rotten stone.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, the only bit of excitement we had while we were away was that the motorhome batteries decided to chuck in the towel.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Perfect timing, eh?
Yeah, $2,000 later.
Jesus.
all of them go?
Sorry?
All of them went at once?
Yeah, well, in those sorts of things, AGMs and that, you've got to replace them all at once. If one goes, it generally drags down the others.
Right.
They're not individually regulated?
No, they form a battery bank. They're all set up in parallel.
My motorhome is much more basic. It's got one battery for the engine and one battery for all the auxiliaries.
Yeah, well, my motorhome, it's got the engine battery and like the truck battery and the home batteries, and I set them up that way anyway. So
Yeah.
because otherwise, nothing worse than getting out in the morning and you can't start the vehicle.
Yeah, definitely.
And Paul, he used to build motorhomes too, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other half of our business.
All right. Yeah, the one we've got is a tiny little thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've got the equivalent of a double bed on the bottom, but there is a little pull-out shelf, and you could probably put one or two small children up there if you really wanted to. But
yeah,
it's a bit of a squeeze.
Oh no, it's my mobile motel. It's all self-contained. It's got its own.
I mean, on that, all the auxiliary battery runs is a few lights. There's nothing else in there that it runs actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, ours has got the shower, toilet.
Yeah.
The all the water pumps and everything run off the 12-volt system. Heaters run off the 12-volt system.
Yeah.
Fridge runs off the 12-volt system.
Yeah, there is a pump for the sink actually, but which is off that battery, but that's been disconnected anyway. The previous owners decided they didn't like it, so they took it out. But we've got it to put back in if we ever want to, but we haven't bothered yet.
Oh yeah.
When you take off, Paul, for a vacation, where is it that you like to go?
Anywhere really. We'll probably head for the coast somewhere. But we used to live down in Cornwall near the sea, so we often go down there, probably at least a couple of times a year on a normal year, and stay with a friend of ours down there. So we do that maybe even just for a weekend or whatever. But yeah, when we go away for a longer holiday than that, then maybe Wales or wherever really. But yeah, last year we managed to get in a couple of short trips between lockdowns. We went to the north end of Wales for the first few days, and then came back home and went off to the south of Wales for another few days. but we didn't manage to get our visits to Cornwall in last year because of the lockdown and stuff. So haven't been down there for a long time.
Yeah,
But yeah, we go abroad sometimes. Our last trip was to Venice. That was sort of autumn 2019. I think we had about a week there, if I remember. That was interesting. I don't speak a word of Italian though, but fortunately they all speak English. I can do a bit of Spanish and I do a bit of French, but I'm no good on Italian.
There you go. I think Chris just named my paste from the bird. From the bird.
Mm.
Anyway, Paul, you have no trouble speaking Italian. All you got to do is use your hands, you know.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't do that to them, you're right.
Yeah. It's funny in Venice though. You see the gondoliers having arguments because one's getting in the way of the other or something. But most of the time, I think they're quite tolerant of each other. But every now and again, when someone is holding them up for any length of time, they do start to get a bit agitated. Then
They don't have road rage. They have river rage.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. It's a strange place. You've got this whole city and not a car in sight, basically.
Yeah.
But you see the boats coming in. They've got one of the buildings. They're doing some renovation on it or something like that. And all the materials they bring them in on a boat.
Yeah.
Or the equivalent of the UPS guys. You see them running around with a little barrow. And they've got a stack of parcels on it, and they run around delivering the parcels. And when the barrow's empty, I suppose they go back and pick up another barrow load. But I guess it works.
Yeah. I think they're a bit worried it's sinking into the sea, aren't they?
Yeah, slowly, I think it is, yeah.
I did a documentary on there a while ago, and where they were showing the foundations of a lot of them, and they're just rotting out and slowly sinking down. They're trying everything they can to stop them.
Yeah. Quite a challenge, I would imagine.
Sorry?
Quite a challenge, I would imagine, to try and keep something that size afloat.
Yeah.
Or up at the height it should be.
I'm sure Hollywood's got a full set of Venice. Why don't they just move there?
No, Las Vegas it is.
Well, after this is the abrasive, and I'm going to put a polish on afterwards. After I've done that, I'm going to knock it on the head.
Yeah. No, well, I don't know. I trust the Italian architects. Actually, look, they build a tower that leans and a city that sinks, and
They did that deliberately.
Yeah, they reckon some of their modern architecture is not much better because it was made with substandard materials because the mafia was creaming off the profits or something like that.
yeah.
Wasn't there a bridge or something that collapsed because they built it with substandard materials?
Yeah, that's right. It did too. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Oh, we've had a few here too, don't worry. Not using the right concrete, trying to get rid of, substandard crap.
Yeah.
I think it happens in all countries where they try to cut costs somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they end up bribing the wrong person
Mm.
that'll take a bribe, and then safety requirements are overlooked.
Yeah.
And then there's a problem that on our freeways, when they built them, Detroit had some of the first sunken, where we called it the ditch. They dig it out and the roadbed was lower and bridged over at the major intersections.
Mhm.
And they found that was the best way of doing it. And later on, history showed that it was being done on one, because from our tank arsenal where they built them, they didn't have a way of getting them. So they had to build a road that the tanks could be driven on without a turret to get them to a point of shipping. So we got the big highway program in the 50s under Eisenhower to do that.
Mm.
But the interesting thing is that just one lane was made heavy enough to handle them, but that wasn't told to people. So when they had to go fixing it, the contractors wondered, why is this concrete almost 6 foot thick? And it was a big puzzle for years, but they always did the contract at night because they didn't want spies to see what was being built. It was a highway for cars during the day, and at night they moved tanks from the factory. But one thing they did learn that was really pure science that hadn't been thought of evidently is that the bridges that they put over the road, of course, was metal reinforced, with concrete on it and metal railings and all. And they really looked nice, but they found later that they were actually having the support structures rusting, even though they'd spray them with special paints to stop rusting. And it wasn't rusting, it was electrolysis, because they grounded both ends of the roadbed on the bridges. So what did they have? They had a battery. The wire that they had supporting it, the wire mesh that the concrete was laid on, was all fastened and welded together to make it, quote, stronger. And then they grounded at both ends, and they found that you can't do that. No one ever thought that would be enough to create a battery, but they had to replace them. They're just finishing up the last of the big bridges here because they fall down. The concrete just crumbles from it. But that's what happens when you make the first of something.
Yep, guess so.
We had a workshop with steel benches, where if I attached the arc earth lead to that, I could just about weld anywhere in the workshop, because it used to, the bench was bolted to the floor and the bolts had gone through the Rio, and it was it was pretty handy, I could hook an earth up anywhere.
Yeah,
it was a bit scary the first time I found it, though, I tell you.
Oh, I bet. But a lot of things like that are, quote, discoveries were done by common people, and then scientists had to figure out why.
I suppose you're showing off now, are you, Joe?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. No one has to look or anything, but.
Oh, no. Really is.
Yeah, no, that piece of red gum's come up nice.
Mm.
God, I shouldn't have given you that, I suppose.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, oh well.
But you know what the thing is, though? Are you going to actually turn anything with them?
I don't know.
That's why I asked. I thought,
As you know,
If you got an order for 50 identical,
yeah, good point. Yes.
yeah, I don't turn bowls, or very rarely anyway.
yeah, Paul, Robo has 2 sites and YouTube channels, but it's interesting if you haven't gone and looked at some of his as a production turner and how to use a skew and how to use a roughing gouge. I learned different purposes for a roughing gouge watching him, and now I reground mine and I love it. I have a U-shaped roughing gouge.
Yeah.
And because he uses it as a skew at times.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check those out. I think I've seen a couple of them, but not that one, I don't think.
Yeah, I had never used it that way. And well, after I saw him do it the first time, it dawned on me because one of the workers that worked for my grandfather's shop, that's all he did. He only used one tool, and it was a big horseshoe-shaped tool. And he used it and at that time, it was, I was like 13, 14 years old. Yeah. I just did, and it was handmade by him. Everybody had made their own tools that had to work for them because there wasn't companies that made them. But it brought back a lot of memories, it's like instantly, whoa, I remember that as a kid, but haven't thought of it in 70 years.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, I'm going to knock it on the head now. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Still appreciate it. And thank you, Paul, for turning today. You saved me.
That's right.
Thanks.
I thought I'd take the opportunity. I don't normally do it.
Tomorrow.
One of our bedrooms is right above my workshop, but everybody else is away tonight, so there's nobody else to disturb.
Take advantage.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
we'll catch you at the club meeting tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Night. Yeah.
Bye-bye.